Joy stood outside the convocation hall of the University of Ibadan, her certificate rolled neatly in a red ribbon, her smile tight with forced pride. Around her, classmates cheered and posed for photos, buzzing with dreams of big jobs, postgraduate study abroad, or youth service in top cities. But for Joy, there was no job offer waiting, no fancy uncle with connections, and certainly no relocation plans. Her parents, modest traders in Bodija Market, had done all they could to see her through school. Now, the future feels like an empty plate. Back at home, her mother cooked quietly while her father muttered about how the country had nothing to offer its youth. Joy lay on her bed that evening, the ceiling fan whirring above her, trying to convince herself she had options. One idea kept resurfacing, a small fruit stall by the roadside near her street. It was not what she had studied for, but it was a start. The next morning, Joy took 5,000 Nigerian nairas from the small savings she had left and headed to Bodija Market. She picked the freshest fruits she could find, mangoes, oranges, pineapples, and watermelons. The traders greeted her with surprise. Graduate downtown market woman, one man chuckled, but she smiled politely and kept walking. Pride wouldn't feed her, but determination might. By afternoon, she set up her table at a dusty corner near a busy junction, arranging her fruits as neatly as she could. Her heart pounded with each passing car, each glance. Would people even buy from her? By evening, she had sold just enough to buy more fruit for the next day. It wasn't a profit yet, but it was proof. She could do this. As she packed up for the day, a woman handed her a small bottle of cold water and said, "You're doing something big, even if it doesn't look like it yet." Days turned into weeks, and Joy found a rhythm. She woke early, went to the market, cleaned her fruits, and opened her makeshift stall before the sun got too high. Her hands grew calloused, her skin darkened from the sun, and her clothes were often damp with sweat. But she was building something. Slowly, she gained regular customers, bus drivers, teachers, office workers who stopped by for fresh mango slices or cold oranges. One afternoon, she caught sight of herself in a car window, hair tied back in a scarf, face shiny, hands stained with pineapple juice. A pang of doubt pricked her heart. She had dreamed of boardrooms, presentations, and travel. Now she was a fruit seller. But when a small boy ran to her and grinned, holding out his 100 Nigerian nairas note for a slice of watermelon, she smiled. Maybe she wasn't where she wanted to be, but she wasn't lost either. It was a Wednesday, and the sun was unforgiving. Joy wiped her forehead with the edge of her wrapper, arranging a tray of golden mangoes with practiced care. Cars honked impatiently in the traffic jam that clogged the road in front of her stall. Lagos drivers weren't known for patience, but today's congestion was unusually intense. She noticed a black SUV idling just a few feet from her table, the windows rolled halfway down. Inside sat a white man, probably in his early 40s, brows furrowed as he tapped something on his phone. The air conditioning likely shielded him from the heat, but even from her side, Joy could see the irritation on his face. Without thinking, she walked up to the car, held up a ripe mango, and smiled. "Taste and see," she said simply. The man blinked, surprised, then shrugged and nodded. She peeled the mango expertly and handed it over. He took a bite and paused. The man chewed slowly, his eyes lighting up as the mango's flavor hit his tongue. "Wow," he said, the word thick with his accent. "This is incredible." Joy chuckled. "It's Ogbomosho mango. The best." He nodded, took another bite, and reached for his wallet. She waved it off. "First taste is free," she said. "But tomorrow, I'll charge you double." They both laughed, and for a moment, the noise of traffic melted into the background. He introduced himself as Mark, a Dutch investor visiting Nigeria to explore agricultural opportunities. "I'm stuck in this jam every afternoon. Guess I'll be seeing more of you," he said with a smile. That afternoon, He bought 24 mangoes before the traffic cleared and his car rolled away. Joy stared after the SUV, heart thudding with something unfamiliar, not just the hope of a regular customer, but a feeling she couldn't name. True to his word, Mark returned the next day. This time, he rolled down his window with a grin and said, "You've spoiled me. No mango in my hotel can compare." Joy laughed and handed him a tray already packed. Their conversation flowed easily. He asked about her background, and she spoke of school, dreams, and her unexpected fruit-selling journey. He listened, really listened, and didn't flinch when she mentioned her struggles. The next few days followed a rhythm. Each afternoon, the black SUV crawled through traffic, and Joy walked over with fresh fruit and a ready smile. Curious passerby began to notice. Some teased her. Others whispered. But she didn't mind. There was something about talking to Mark that made the hours fly. He didn't talk down to her or ask why she wasn't doing better. Instead, he talked about farming, markets, and opportunity. And he always finished with, "See you tomorrow." One hot Friday, Mark stepped out of his SUV for the first time. He stretched, walked to her store, and looked around thoughtfully. "You've got something special here," he said. "But it's too small." Joy tilted her head, confused. He continued, "Nigeria has some of the best fruits in the world. You're selling gold, and you don't even know it." Pulling out a small notepad, he sketched a plan featuring larger booths, packing facilities, and even routes for exports. Joy listened in stunned silence. "You want to partner with me?" she asked. "Not just a partner," Mark replied. "I want to invest. Fully. With your permission, of course. You'll be in charge." The word felt like it tilted slightly. Was this a dream? She looked at her tiny table, then back at him. "I don't have experience," she said softly. "You have heart, grit, and the best mangoes in Ibadan," he said. "That's enough to start." That night, Joy couldn't sleep. Her parents were shocked when she told them about the investor and his proposal. "Are you sure he's not trying to trick you?" her mother asked, worried. Her father said little, his face unreadable. Joy lay in bed, thoughts spinning. What if it failed? What if she lost everything? But what if it worked? What if this was the opportunity that would change her life and her family's? She sat up, pulled out a notepad, and began to write. She listed fruits, suppliers, locations, and names. Joy's fresh farm produce, she scribbled, then crossed it out. Mango Magic. Golden Grove. She wasn't sure. But for the first time since graduation, she felt a rush of energy that went beyond survival. This wasn't just about getting by. It was about building something real. And maybe, just maybe, trusting that good things could still find her. Mark invited Joy to a cafe near Dogby the following Monday. She had never been to such a place, air-conditioned, glass walls, quiet music humming in the background. Mark brought out a sleek folder filled with documents. "These are the terms. We'll set up a limited liability company, and I'll provide the seed capital. You run the business, and we'll split the profit 60-40, you get the larger share." Joy blinked. It felt too generous. She flipped through the papers, not understanding most of the legalese. "Can I show this to someone?" she asked. Mark smiled. "I encourage it. Get a lawyer. Ask questions. I want you to be fully on board." That night, she called her cousin Emma, a law student at UI. By morning, Emma had reviewed the documents and confirmed everything looked solid. Joy's hands trembled as she signed her name. Just like that, her fruit stall became the first step in a new journey. The following month was a whirlwind. With Mark's capital, they secured a small shop in a strategic location near the main market. Joy painted the walls a cheerful green and hired 2 young women from her neighborhood to help clean and sort fruit. The business name they settled on, Fruit Flame Nigeria, was stamped on signs, bags, and boxes. She designed a simple logo, a mango wrapped in flame-like gold leaves. When they opened, the shop drew a crowd. Customers who once stopped at her roadside table now walked into a space filled with color and scent, baskets of mangoes, pineapples, guavas, and pawpaws arranged like art. She offered samples, told stories about each fruit's origin, and began supplying to local restaurants. Mark watched quietly from the corner that first day. "You're a natural," he said. Joy smiled, her heart bursting. It was still early, but success had started knocking. With growth came challenges. The first supplier delivered bruised fruit one morning, and Joy had to throw out nearly half her stock. Another day, a worker didn't show up, and the store remained closed until noon. Customers complained, and Joy felt the weight of her new responsibilities settle heavy on her shoulders. She called Mark in a panic. "I'm not cut out for this," she said. Mark met her at the store and calmly helped her sort through the mess. "Every business has hiccups. The important thing is how you respond," he said. Together, they created a supplier contract checklist and hired a backup hand. Mark also brought in a young logistics consultant to help her map out delivery routes. "You don't have to do everything alone," he reminded her. For the first time, Joy realized that leadership wasn't about perfection, it was about learning, adapting, and keeping the vision alive. Mark suggested they visit some farms outside Ibadan. "You need to see where your products come from," he said. They drove for hours, passing through Oyo villages until they reached a mango plantation nestled among low hills. The farmer, a sprightly woman named Mama Titi, welcomed them with palm wine and stories of how she'd grown her orchards. Joy walked through the trees, touching the green mangoes with awe. "I want to build a relationship with farmers like her," she told Mark. They struck a deal with Mama Titi to supply premium mangoes in exchange for a better rate and long-term partnership. On the drive back, Mark said, "You're thinking like an entrepreneur now." Joy looked out the window, the setting sun bathing her face. For the first time, she wasn't afraid of what came next. Stay tuned and watch out for part 2 to unveil the end of the story between Joy and Mark in the next series. It promises to be exciting. Do not forget to press on the like and subscribe button to be the first to see my next video when it drops. And watch out for another interesting episode. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.